He called my shipyard a rust bucket and fired me. Problem was, I owned the only deep water repair facility his family's fleet could use within 200 miles. I'm sitting in this glass conference room on the third floor of Brewster Maritime's corporate building, and the kid across from me hasn't looked up from his laptop since I walked in. Garrett Brewster, 25 years old, Princeton MBA, he's wearing this slim-fit navy suit with white sneakers that cost more than I spend on groceries in a month. The whole room smells like expensive cologne. Through the window I can see my yard. The real one, crane swinging a propeller off the Coastal Guardian, blue flash of welding sparks. Tugboat pushing a grain barge upriver, men in hard hats moving across 40 acres of steel and concrete. That yard's alive. This room feels dead. My name's Marcus Sullivan. Friends call me Tank. I'm 47 years old, been running operations at Brewster Maritime for 22 years. Before that, I spent 8 years in the Navy Seabees, building runways and repair facilities from Kuwait to Somalia. Everything I know about marine systems, I learned with my hands or from manuals I read during chow time. Garrett finally looks up, not at my face, somewhere around my collar. Tank, I'll cut right to it. Brewster Maritime is transitioning to an asset-light maintenance model. We're partnering with Al Rashid Marine Services in Dubai for all fleet operations. He says it like he's reading a PowerPoint slide. Your position as operations director is being eliminated as part of this strategic restructuring. I don't react, just sit there. Frankly, that facility down there is bleeding money. It's a rust bucket. The overhead alone is, he waves his hand like the number doesn't matter. We're moving to global sourcing. Modern operators don't maintain their own facilities. An HR lady by the door shifts her weight. She's holding a tablet like a shield. Your last day is today, Garrett says. HR will handle your separation package. I look at him for a moment, then I look through that window at the dry dock. 400 feet of deep water built to service vessels up to Panamax class. I rebuilt those keel blocks myself in 2014. Replaced the ballast pumps in 2018. That facility services 23 ships in the Brewster fleet. Roger, that I said. That was it. 2 words. Garrett's eyebrows twitched. He expected an argument, maybe begging. He got military acknowledgement and a man picking up his manila folder. I stood up and walked out. The HR lady stepped aside like I was carrying something explosive. Here's what young Garrett didn't know, what nobody at Brewster Maritime knew except for one maritime lawyer named Howard Kellerman. In 2011, the company that operated this facility before Brewster leased it went bankrupt. Court put the whole thing up for auction. 40 acres of waterfront, including the dry dock, repair bays, warehouse, fuel depot, the works. I'd been watching. I knew what that property was worth. More importantly, I knew what it was worth to anyone who needed deep water access on this stretch of coast. I called Howard. He's been practicing maritime law out of a 2-room office downtown for 35 years. Known him since he handled the legal work when I bought my first house after getting out of the Navy. Howard's the kind of lawyer who keeps copies of everything in fireproof filing cabinets and never raises his voice because he doesn't need to. Howard set up Sullivan Marine Holdings LLC, managing member, Marcus T. Sullivan. Used my savings, every dollar I'd put away since I was 18, plus my VA loan benefits. My ex-wife thought I was crazy, but she signed the papers, cost us $2 and $2 million for property that took $28 million to build. Then Howard structured the lease. Sullivan Marine Holdings as lessor, Brewster Maritime as lessee, fair market rate $78,000 a month. They've been cutting checks to my LLC for 13 years. Never questioned it, just another line item in their facility budget, but Howard put in a clause. Section 6.4 of the lease agreement. In the event the lessee terminates employment of any individual who is a managing member or beneficial owner of the lessor entity, lessor may terminate this lease upon 14 calendar days written notice. I told Howard to write it in. He said I'd probably never need it. I said write it anyway. The manila folder I carried into that conference room had my copy of that lease. I brought it because I already knew what was coming. 3 days before the firing, my yard superintendent Pete Morales texted me at 10 p.m. Pete's 44, former Army engineer, been working under me for 18 years. Started as a rigger, worked his way up. He'd overheard Garrett's assistant scheduling the meeting, the one with HR, the one that always means the same thing. His text was simple, Thursday, watch your 6. I read it sitting on my couch, my dog Ranger at my feet. Got up, opened the safe, pulled out the lease agreement, set it in the manila folder by the front door. Walking out of that building, I crossed the yard one last time. The crew saw me coming, hard hats turned. A welder killed his torch and lifted his hood. Nobody said anything. They knew. Pete was standing by the gate, arms crossed, jaw working. He didn't speak. Neither did I. Some things don't need words between men who've worked together for 18 years. I stopped at the gate and looked back. The dry dock, 400 feet of deep water. the cranes I'd maintained, the fuel depot humming with diesel that kept 23 ships running, my facility, my land, my name on the deed filed with the parish clerk for 13 years. I got in my truck, a 201-day F250, white with rust creeping up from the wheel wells, set the Manila folder on the passenger seat and drove home. Garrett Brewster had just fired the man who owned the ground under his feet. He just didn't know it yet. Next morning, I called Howard. He answered on the second ring. Howard's always at his desk by 7 a.m. Howard, he fired me yesterday. Quiet on the line. Howard doesn't waste words. Section 6.4, he said. Section 6.4, I'll have the notice drafted and hand-delivered by noon. Certified mail, return receipt. They've got 14 days, one more thing. Call Captain Martinez at Coastal Defense Fleet. Tell him I'm ready to talk about that standing offer. I sat in my truck at the boat launch, drinking coffee from my dented thermos. Same one I've carried since my first year at Brewster. Brown water moved past the pilings. Pelican working the shallows, patient as a man who knows where the fish are. At 12:43 p.m., a courier walked into Brewster Maritime's lobby carrying a legal envelope from Howard T. Kellerman, attorney at law. The receptionist signed for it, looked at the return address, didn't recognize it, routed it to legal. Helen Ward, Brewster's general counsel, opened it 2 hours later. Smart lady, thorough. She reads everything twice. Lease termination notice from Sullivan Marine Holdings LLC, citing Section 6.4, effective in 14 days. Attached was a certified copy of the LLC's articles and the recorded deed. She didn't recognize the name Sullivan Marine Holdings, figured it was some vendor dispute. She pulled the lease file from storage, thick folder, dusty, found the ground lease, standard terms, $78,000 monthly. She turned to Section 6.4. Read it once, twice, then a third time. Her hand went to the phone. Mr. Brewster, we have a situation. I wasn't in that room, but I know Helen Ward. I can tell you exactly how she sounded. Flat, controlled. Like someone holding a live grenade. Emergency board meeting 40 minutes later. Garrett sitting at the head of the mahogany table in his Innovation Pipeline conference room. Helen at the far end with her laptop and the lease file. What did you say? Old Admiral Brewster's voice through the speakerphone. He built this company from one tugboat in 1971. Helen repeated it. The LLC, the deed, the termination clause. The penalty provisions $8 million in damages if they tried to fight it. Tank Sullivan owns the property. Marcus Sullivan, sir? Tank Sullivan? He owns it through an LLC. Has for 13 years. Garrett's face went white, not red. White. There has to be a way to challenge this. Helen looked at him like a surgeon looks at someone asking to operate on themselves. He doesn't own company property. He owns his property. We're the tenant, and we just lost the lease. We'll find another facility. Nearest deep water facility with our capacity is mobile 200 miles. 8-month waiting list. Our inspection schedule requires monthly access. Without this facility, we can't certify a single vessel. The room went quiet, dead quiet. Then the Admiral's voice, Garrett, what have you done? 3 days before the Admiral's black Lincoln pulled into my driveway, I'd signed an exclusive service agreement with Coastal Defense Fleet. Captain Roy Martinez flew down personally, didn't send lawyers, came himself. Roy's 56, spent 30 years Navy. We've known each other since a joint exercise in '96. He's been calling me every year for 5 years. Same pitch, same patience. The deal, $32 million over 5 years. Sullivan Marine Holdings grants Coastal Defense exclusive use of the facility. I become VP of Fleet Operations. The agreement includes a no-service clause for Brewster Maritime vessels. Roy read that clause and looked at me. You sure about that, Roger? That we signed. Whole thing took 40 minutes. I've been waiting 5 years for this call. Tank, copy that. The Coastal Defender, 380-foot container vessel, was the first ship in under the new contract. Pete ran the operation from the dock, calling positions over radio. Ballast pumps hummed. Keel blocks took her weight. Welding torches lit up before sunrise. My facility was running again, just not for Brewster. Meanwhile, my son Brady had been working the yard for 6 months. Kid's 19, dropped out of college to figure things out. Smart as hell, just needed to find his way. Garrett firing me meant Brady was out of a job too, Dad. What happens to my job? Brady asked me that night over dinner. You'll have a better one, I said. Trust me. Brady looked confused, but he trusted me. Kid's seen me handle problems before. Admiral Brewster's Lincoln pulled up Thursday morning at 8:15. I saw it from the dock wall where I was checking the Defender's hull work. The old man got out slowly. Cactus, polo shirt, deck shoes. Still dressed like the tugboat captain he used to be. No entourage, no lawyers. Just an old man walking across gravel toward a facility he thought he controlled. We met by the fuel depot. Behind me, the Defender sat in the bay, scaffolding going up her starboard side, ring of hammers and hiss of cutting torches. He looked old. Not the sturdy old from company dinners when he called me the best hire we ever made. This was different, shoulders lower, hands hanging loose. Tank, I fired Garrett this morning. Board voted unanimous at 7 a.m. He paused. Jaw worked like he was chewing something bitter. I'm asking you man to man for a lease extension. Any terms. I'll pay whatever you want. I looked at him, the man who gave me my start. Who shook my hand at every company dinner and meant it? Who let family blind him to what was happening? No anger in my voice, no triumph, just the settled feeling of a man standing on his own ground who'd already made his decision. I would if I could, Admiral. But the exclusive agreement with Coastal Defense says otherwise. Your grandson made sure I was free to sign it. He nodded slow, like a man taking a hit he knew was coming. You were the best hire I ever made, Tank. Yes, sir. He stood there another few seconds, looking past me at the dry dock. The Defender in the bay. My crew working her hull. The yard alive like it's always been alive, just wearing different colors now. Then he walked back to his car, paused with his hand on the door, looked at the facility one more time, got in. The Lincoln pulled out and disappeared down the highway. I watched until it was gone. Then I walked back to check on the Defender's progress. Within 6 weeks, Brewster Maritime's inspection schedule collapsed. Vessels couldn't get certified. Jones Act compliance lapsed on 4 ships at once. Insurance carriers issued coverage warnings. The Bahrain outsourcing plan died when operations calculated that shipping a vessel across the Atlantic for routine maintenance would cost more than my annual lease rate. Turns out moving a 300-foot cargo ship halfway around the world isn't cheap. Clients started jumping ship. Coastal Defense had the facility, had the crew, had me. They offered immediate service to anyone willing to switch contracts. Gulf Maritime was first. Their CEO called Roy Martinez directly. We need our fleet certified by month's end. Can you handle it? Affirmative, Roy said. Tank's got capacity. Within 3 months, 12 of Brewster's biggest clients had moved over. $850 million in contracts gone. Just like that. Brady came to me one evening while I was working on my truck in the garage. Kid had been quiet since the whole thing started. Dad, Pete told me what you did. How you owned the property this whole time. I kept working on the alternator. Pete talks too much. Is it true? I looked at my son. 19 years old, trying to figure out his place in the world. Smart kid, just needed direction. Yeah, it's true. Why didn't you ever tell me? I set down my wrench, because owning something and bragging about it are two different things. Your grandfather taught me that. Brady was quiet for a minute. What happens now? Now, you decide what you want to do. You want to go back to college? I can pay for it. You want to learn the business? I'll teach you. But you need to decide. I want to learn good. Roy Martinez is starting a marine engineering program, partnership with LSU. 2 years, you'll have a degree and know how to run a facility like this. Brady smiled. First time I'd seen him really smile since he dropped out. The Brewster Maritime Board forced a sale 4 months after I walked out of that conference room. Company that Admiral Brewster built from one tugboat, valued at $850 million in 2023, sold for 35 cents on the dollar to a private equity firm. They stripped the fleet and sold vessels individually, broke up a 50-year company in 6 months. Garrett's LinkedIn went dark. Last anyone heard, he was back in New York interviewing at consulting firms. His Princeton MBA still opens doors. None of them smell like diesel fuel and salt water. None of them require you to know the difference between a keel block and a coffee table. Helen Ward called me the day before the sale finalized.
Tank, I wanted you to know. The Admiral asked me to send you something. What's that?
A letter should arrive today. The letter came with the afternoon mail. Handwritten on old Brewster Maritime letterhead, the kind with the tugboat logo Admiral designed himself in 1971, 2 sentences. You earned every bit of it. Should have seen it coming. I put the letter in the safe in my bedroom, next to the deed and my discharge papers from the Navy. Sullivan Marine Holdings collected $32 million from the Coastal Defense contract, plus $8 million in lease penalties. I paid off the house. Set up college funds for Brady and his future kids. Put enough aside that my family would be set for generations. Bought myself a 2024 F-350. Brady said the old truck ran fine. I bought it anyway. A man's got to drive something that doesn't smell like 14 years of salt air. Pete Morales got promoted to facility manager, 18 years of loyalty paid off. First thing he did was give raises to every man who'd stayed when things got uncertain. Tank, what should I tell the new guys about how this all happened? Pete asked me, tell them the truth. Patience pays off, preparation beats panic. And never underestimate a man just because he works with his hands. Roy Martinez offered me a partnership in coastal defense fleet, full partner, not just VP. Tank, you've got the facility, you've got the crew, and you've got the know-how. Why work for someone else? Because I like having backup. I said naval tradition, never sail alone. Fair enough. What about your boy? Brady's going through the program. Give him 2 years, he'll be ready to run operations. Good, we need more like him. Brady enrolled in the marine engineering program that fall. Mornings at LSU, afternoons in the yard learning hands-on. Kid took to it like he was born for it. Turns out he inherited more than just his mother's brains. One evening in late October, Brady and I were working on the Coastal Defender's starboard engine, teaching him to diagnose bearing wear by sound. Dad, can I ask you something? Shoot, when did you know you were going to win? I thought about that. When I was 36 and bought this property, but I didn't know I was going to win. I just knew I wasn't going to lose. What's the difference? Winning means beating someone else. Not losing means protecting what matters to you. Big difference, Brady nodded. Kid was learning more than just marine engineering. The facility ran like clockwork under the new setup. 3 shifts, 7 days a week. We serviced everything from tugboats to container ships. Coast Guard inspectors knew us by name and trusted our work. I kept Admiral Brewster's photo on my office wall, the one from the company picnic in 2019, when he called me the backbone of this operation in front of 200 people. He meant it then. Still meant it when he wrote that letter. Some men you respect even when they're wrong. Admiral Brewster was one of them. Friday evening, I was sitting in the cab of my new truck at the top of the dock wall. The Coastal Defender was in the bay below, fresh paint gleaming. My crew was wrapping up, tools clanking into boxes. Someone laughing about something I couldn't hear. Brady walked up to the truck window. Coveralls dirty, hard hat pushed back, looking like a real shipyard worker. Dad, you coming to dinner? Mom's making that gumbo you like. Brady's mom and I had been talking more since all this happened. Divorce doesn't mean you stop caring about family. Yeah, I'll be there, just checking on things. Everything looks good from here. He was right. Everything did look good. My phone buzzed while I was watching the sunset over the water. Text from Brady. Dad, you coming to the game Friday night? High school football. Brady was helping coach the JV team while going through the engineering program. Kid had found his purpose. I texted back, front row, son. The facility ran smoother than it ever had under Brewster. We had 3 major contracts now. Coastal Defense, Gulf Maritime, and Lone Star Shipping, all companies that knew the value of keeping their fleets stateside for maintenance. Pete walked up to where I was standing on the dock wall. Tank, got the quarterly numbers, want to see them. How bad, try how good. We're running 40% over capacity projections. Roy wants to discuss expansion. I looked out at the water. A shrimp boat was heading in from the Gulf, nets full, riding low, the way they're supposed to ride. What kind of expansion? Second dry dock, deeper water. Handle the big container ships coming through the new Panama Canal locks. Cost? $15 million. Roy's got financing lined up. Says the Navy might be interested in a partnership homeland security angle. I thought about that. Military contracts meant steady work, good money, and the kind of security that lets a man sleep at night. Set up a meeting. 6 months later, we broke ground on the expansion. Brady ran the project management side while finishing his degree. Kid had inherited more than just his mother's brains and his grandfather's work ethic. He had vision. The new facility would employ 200 people. Good jobs, union wages, benefits, the kind of work that builds families and communities. Admiral Brewster stopped by one day while we were pouring concrete for the new keel blocks. I hadn't seen him since that morning he asked for a lease extension. He looked better, healthier, like a weight had been lifted. Tank, got a minute? We walked to my office. He sat down across from my desk. Same chair he'd sat in dozens of times over the years when we planned fleet maintenance schedules. Wanted to thank you, he said. For what? For teaching me something about my grandson and about myself. I waited. Admiral didn't waste words. Garrett's working for a consulting firm in Manhattan. Making good money, but he calls me every Sunday now. Says getting fired was the best thing that ever happened to him. Made him grow up. Glad to hear it. He asked me to tell you something. Said he was sorry. Said he understands now what he threw away. I nodded. Kid's young, he'll figure it out. Maybe. But what he threw away, you built into something better. This place, these jobs, Brady's future. That's not luck, Tank. That's leadership. Admiral stood up, looked out the window at the expansion project. Cranes moving, concrete mixers rolling, men in hard hats building something that would last. I started this company with one tugboat and a dream. You're building something that'll outlast both of us. We shook hands, firm grip, eye contact. The way military men do business. After he left, I sat in my office thinking about what he'd said. Building something that would outlast me. That's what fathers do. That's what real men do. Brady finished his degree that spring, graduated summa cum laude. The whole family came to the ceremony. His mother, his stepfather, even Admiral Brewster. Kid had earned it. Roy Martinez offered Brady a full partnership track position. 2 years as operations manager, then we'll talk equity. Brady took it. Smart move. Learn the business from the inside. Then buy in when you know what you're buying. That evening, we were sitting on the dock after the ceremony. Brady in his cap and gown, me in my best suit. The water was calm, reflecting the lights from the facility. Dad, I need to ask you something. Shoot. When you bought this place, did you ever think it would turn out like this? I thought about that question, really thought about it. Son, when I signed those papers in 2011, I thought I was buying insurance, protection against getting old and thrown away. Turned out I was buying a future. Your future, what's the difference? Insurance protects what you have. A future creates what you can become. Brady nodded. Kid understood more than just engineering principles. The expansion opened 18 months later. State-of-the-art facility capable of handling the largest vessels in the commercial fleet. We had contracts lined up for 3 years. Good, steady work. Brady moved into his operations manager role like he was born for it. Crew respected him because he'd worked alongside them, learned from them, earned his position. I stepped back from day-to-day operations. Not retirement, but transition. Teaching Brady to make decisions, handle problems, lead men who'd been doing this job since before he was born. One Friday evening in November, I was walking through the facility doing my final check. Old habits. Brady was in the office, handling the weekend schedule. Pete was training the night shift supervisor, everything running like clockwork. I stopped at the memorial wall we'd built for workers who died on the job over the years. My father's name was there, welding accident, 1987. I was 22 then, thought I knew everything. Took me 25 years to understand what he'd been trying to teach me. Work with your hands, build something real, leave something better than you found it. Looking out at the facility, the lights reflecting off the water, the sound of generators humming and metal being shaped into something useful. I knew I'd done that. My phone buzzed. Text from Brady. Dad, you ready to head home? Mom's making dinner. His mother and I had been talking about getting back together. 20 years of marriage, 15 years apart, and we were both smart enough to know what we'd lost. I texted back, on my way. Walking to my truck, I passed the sign Pete had put up at the main gate. Sullivan Marine Holdings, building America's maritime future. Some men build empires on paper. Others build them on 40 acres of waterfront and the knowledge that real work creates real value. Paper burns, steel endures. And sons who learn to work with their hands will always have a place in the world. If you've ever been called just anything by someone who couldn't do your job for 5 minutes, remember this. Patience pays, preparation beats panic, and the man who owns the foundation controls the building. Don't let anyone convince you that honest work doesn't matter. It's the only thing that really does.